Hello guys, my name is Ezra, and before we get to Dune Part 2 review, I guess I just want to introduce myself to you guys, the new viewers. My name is Ezra, like I said before, and welcome to Ezra Times. This is actually my second channel where I review movies, and maybe reviewing games or even counter discussing for the future. And the reason why I decided to make this second channel is because I think that, because I really want like a channel that really built focusing on movies and games, instead of just like doing other like too many different stuff basically, because my first channel is like that, too many different stuff and it doesn't really pick up by the algorithm, so I thought that, well, I might as well make this second channel so I can focus a lot more on movie reviews in the future, so this is gonna be my first movie review, which is about Dune Part 2. And again, keep in mind guys, like the video was actually recorded for my first channel, so it's gonna be like a welcoming back kind of video, so it's a bit different for the new viewers, and please enjoy my review for Dune Part 2, and of course let me know your feedback on it, and stay tuned for more movie reviews in the future guys. And yeah, without further ado, let's just here's the Dune Part 2 movie review. Hey guys, Ezra time again here. Welcome back to another movie review, and today we're gonna be reviewing this new movie called obviously Dune Part 2, which is the biggest movie that is going to be released, obviously, because Dune Part 1 was such a huge I guess success, and people are talking about it a lot. There is a lot of hype surrounding it, and like, myself, I never actually got into reading like the Dune novel, because I'm not much of a reader myself, but I heard about the hype from the first movie and I decided to check it out, but sadly not on theaters, and really regretting that, when Dune 1 was released in 2021, I think back then Warner Bros. Is still doing this simultaneous release, within theaters and HBO Max, including Dune. So I thought that, well, it's releasing on HBO Max, so I might as well watch it there, right? Because basically when you release a movie on live streaming, that basically means that it's free, that's how it is. But I did watch it and I did like it, even though that the pacing was a bit slow for the first one, until I see the review by Jacksepticeye where he said that he read the novel and apparently the pacing in the movie was actually really fast compared to the novel, which I guess that makes sense, But yeah, I like the first one, and I gotta say I love the second one a lot more, because here's the thing, when you go to Dune Part 2, this is obviously like the conclusion of the Dune, the entirety of the novel, because the first book was so huge, was so long, and I think there is like 6 books overall written by Frank Herbert, before he passed away, before he released like the 7th book, but yeah, this is like the conclusion for the first book, and I gotta say, man, I love this movie a lot more than the first one, mainly because it has a lot more action, to be honest, and I feel like the character are much more fleshed out this time around, like in the first one I get it, it's like setting up some of the moments, some of the character, but I feel like part 1 did a good job setting up the character, and Dune Part 2 we finally see like where the character are headed off, and obviously I absolutely love Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides, the main character, because I think Timothée Chalamet really shine in this movie a lot more than the first one, because in the first one is like, yes, he's good, but in this one he shows a lot more emotion, he's a lot more intense in the movie, and I absolutely love that. I also love how the drama and the story in this movie as well between Paul and Chani, which is played by Zendaya, which I think is amazing, and also the drama between him and his mother, played by Rebecca Ferguson, I think is great, and I feel like this movie has a lot of tension, and I'll bet I have some problem with the movie, which I'm gonna get to that later, but right now I'm gonna praise the movie first. Obviously, like I said, the story, the acting was great. The action is also really well done, and I feel like the sword fight in this movie is also really well done, especially the final one is actually really, really good. And again, this movie does have a lot of character, but I feel like they're all great in a way. I might not remember every single name of them because like there's too many of them, but I feel like all of them does great. Like again, Timothée Chalamet is great, Zendaya is great, Rebecca Ferguson is great, Josh Brolin is great. Austin Butler as Fade Raudna, I think, which is like from the Harkonnen house. I think he's like the standout villain in this movie now, and of course you got Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, and Christopher Walken, Leah Seydoux, Stellan Skarsgård, Javier Bardem. Like there's so many well-known, actor and actresses that work in this movie, and I think all of them does a great job, except maybe for Dave Bautista, but at the same time I can't really blame it on Dave Bautista, which again I'm gonna get to that later. But so far, yeah, that's great, and of course the visual, the VFX of this movie is great. I especially love how when Paul is riding the sandworm from the first time in the movie, that was great, and I feel like it felt so real at times, because I think the VFX is so great. And again, you do feel the tension when he actually tried to ride the biggest sandworm ever, like the Shah Hulut, I think, if that's what they call them. And it's great. It's really great stuff, great. So great action, great visual, great music by Hans Zimmer. But again, it's Hans Zimmer, so it's not exactly surprising. But yeah, great stuff. And I think it's just like so intense, like the music, the visual, the action, the story, and then the drama between all the character. I think all of them are great. But however, like I said, that is a bit of a problem I have with this movie, because even though, like I said before, there is like so many characters, right? Well, that's also the problem. Like there is so many characters that the pacing of the movie might be a bit off to some people. I personally feel it was like fine. Like this movie is like 166 minutes long, nearly 3 hours, but it didn't really feel like a 3 hours movie, even though yeah, it's long. But at the same time, I don't really feel like, oh, like I'm wasting my time. This feels like forever to finish this movie. No, it feels like a 2 hours movie, to be honest with you guys. And I think that's great stuff. But I do think that because it has so many characters, I feel like the pacing might not be the best for a lot of people. And of course, I speak about Dave Bautista before. Dave Bautista in this movie is probably like the weakest performance ever, because here's the thing: everyone has like a lot of like emotion with the character, but Dave Bautista's character is just like angry and shouting the entire time. And this is like, I don't know, man. Like I feel like we've seen Dave Bautista did this before, and I feel like it feels like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, except this time he's way more angrier, than that version, And I feel like, yeah, that's how it felt like, and I was kind of disappointed, because I feel like the director Denis Villeneuve, I think, I'm sorry if I butcher his name, I'm sorry, but Denis basically said that he hired Dave Bautista because he's a great actor, and I was like, okay, great. I mean, Dave Bautista is a great actor indeed. I love Dave Bautista, besides the Guardian of the Galaxy movie. I saw him in Blade Runner 2049, which is also directed by Denis Villeneuve, I think, and yeah, he's great in that movie. But in this movie, I don't know, like it didn't reach his full potential, because he's just angry the entire time. He's just shouting and screaming. And I'm just like, man, come on. Like, Dave Bautista can do so much more than that, And Christopher Walken, Christopher Walken was in this movie, but he doesn't really do much, to be honest. Just kind of like, he's just there. And every single time he appeared, I'm just like, oh yeah, like Christopher Walken was in this movie, And I feel like, again, that's like detriment to see the to having so many characters to juggle in the one movie, And of course, we gotta talk about the Emperor played by Stellan Skarsgård, Baron, right? I think that's his name. Which is like, yeah, because the movie pacing is like, we see two different perspectives. Obviously, we see the Emperor perspective, the Harkonnen house, you could say that, and then you get to see the desert people. I forgot they were called, but like the desert people, and with Paul training to become one of them. And yeah, because we cutting back and forth between the two sides, and it feels like we kind of lose the tension with the Emperor, because I feel like in the first movie, whatever the Emperor showed up, it feels intense, it feels like he's scary as fuck, but I feel like in this movie, he's not that scary, and it was kind of disappointing, and I did mention before that I did watch, Jacksepticeye review for Dune, because again, he read the novel, and apparently the Emperor's character in the novel is actually way better than the movie, because I think Stellan Skarsgård could definitely do some intense, performance, as the character, because apparently in the book he's actually way more, intimidating when he was actually talking. But I feel like in this movie and in the first one, we don't really get to see that, it's more like he's just there to like be visually scary, and I feel like, you kind of miss like the tension with the Emperor, like the Harkonnen house in general, because I feel like while there is tension because you care a lot about the character, but I feel like it kind of like ruins like some of the Harkonnens, antagonistic towards the character, because I feel like the movies stay like the Harkonnen never really interact with Paul until basically the third act of the movie. So it was like, well, it's kind of disappointed that we don't get to see the tension between the two of them a lot more, even though that there is some tension, but it's not enough, at least in my opinion. And I feel like the way they handle the Emperor is like, it could have been way better, especially when I heard in the book that he's actually way more scarier. It's like that's kind of disappointing, the way they handle him in this movie. So yeah, I guess that's my criticism about the Doom Part 2, guys. So yeah, either way, guys, I still think this is a great movie. I think a lot of people are going to love it way more than the first one, and I am curious. To see or to hear opinions from the people who actually read the Dune novel. Because like I think if I wrote the novel, then watched the Dune, part one and part two, then I might have a different opinions on it, But I'm just reviewing this as, as a, as an audience, as a film goers, you could say that, not exactly reading the novel. So I enjoy it personally, but maybe if I read the novel, maybe my opinions will change, So who knows? So I am definitely curious to see, or like to hear everybody's opinion who already read the novel, because I feel like they might have a different perspective and opinions on the Dune movie, and I'm really looking forward to see people who are actually comparing the novel and the movie, and how accurate it is, But yeah, that's pretty much my review for Dune Part 2, guys. Again, let me know in the comment section below, if you guys already watched Dune Part 2, like what do you guys think? Do you guys like the movie, or do you guys think it was too long? Like, do you guys have any favorite part about the movie, and do you guys have any criticism about the movie? Let me know all that in the comment section below, guys. And if you guys enjoyed this review, then make sure to guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, usual stuff, and stay tuned for more videos in the future, guys. And again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.